Trouble Tuesday. You already know we're right here. We decided to hop on, chop it up with individuals, see what's the talk of the town. It's going down, the wind, the curve. You heard me. Let me set this up real quick. All right. Now, for those who are interested, I did drop a new video on this channel. If you guys want to scope it out, talking about the difference that Chicano and Cholo is not the same thing. You know, giving my point of view on that matter. Alrighty. So we do have that because people's understanding of what a Chicano is, they normally tend to describe Cholos for some strange reason. And, we still have the battle rap reactions on the other channel, so you can stay tuned for that. As for the G-File video, it should be coming by tomorrow. I thought I was going to be able to have it done and uploaded by today, but I had other things that popped up yesterday, so, finding time in the world is it's a hassle. There's not enough time, bro, in the world. Sometimes life tends to get in the way. But it should be done by tomorrow because I was able to do some of it yesterday. Like about 80%, maybe 89% done. So you can stay tuned and, look at that. Yeah, but I'm working on 2 at the same time. So that way, by the time I upload the one for tomorrow, I should already have the other one in the works already. That way it could upload faster, in a faster time frame for us. That way we could start getting a rhythm and a pace of, when these videos will be dropping a lot more sooner than, them taking a while. You know what I mean? Because we have, enough for, a lot of those videos. It's just putting them together. It's not so much of the ideas of the information, but the timing, because it does take a while to piece it together. Especially since I'm rolling solo bolo, I don't have a team. Because now I do them by myself. Before I used to have Certified, but so obviously Certified's busy. He does help me, occasionally here and there, but he's got his own thing going on. So we have patience, but it'll be coming. Are you homosexual? No, actually, no, I'm not. We're actually happily married. Yeah, but we're in the works on that, so that's the stuff that'll be dropping for. And some battle rap, the North versus South. We got some new players in the game, from what I was told, so be reacting to those. They finally, people finally put different Northerners to react to, so it'll be different from the usual cast of individuals that normally react to when it comes to their music. And some of the new names that I've been reacting to, they've been fuego when it comes to their music. Even from the South, some of the stuff that Certified puts, those are I never even heard of yet. So we do have that. And now for those who were asking about, Trump's threats on Mexico, yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. The YouTube Yarda is getting audited as SNY. What do you mean? Isn't everyone in the YouTube Yarda SNY? It's a PC world, you paisa cholitas. And the internet, maybe. Our leader was SNY. Our leader? Who's the leader? There's leaders? Love the color. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, exposed to. He's SNY. He's a gang member. I didn't know he was a gang member. I thought he was just a regular person, like a regular civilian. I thought he was just like a viewer. I didn't know he had like gang ties. He was SNY with Dozen Kelly. Interesting. Then why does he make fun of him for being SNY and a rat and stuff like that? That doesn't make sense. What's cracking like Mr. Pasa is definitely up in the casa for the raza. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to all that, so I really don't know what's happening. The only one I really like scope out his stuff is Chemo Flicks. I like his like how he pieces the video together. And the fact that he uses people's own words to, get his points across is genius compared to somebody who's just like talking smack. You get what I mean? With no disrespect to, expose, but I prefer Chemo's methods better. Hi, Rosebuds. Rosebuds? PC is the new active. Actives are low in numbers. On the internet, yeah, for sure. See, that's internet logic. That's it, like seeing it from the internet's perspective, though. Because you see a lot of that on the internet. You hear a lot about that on the internet, but in real life, out there in the streets, it's a lot different. Yeah, but see, you're not counting all the individuals that are actually in the streets, though. Most prisons are PC now. Well, most prisons are inner, like they mix them, but so. But Shadow is a forklift driver. I'm not a forklift driver. I know how to drive a forklift. Sometimes I do have to drive the forklift. I have no shame in that. Individuals in the streets are junkies. Well, that's your opinion, though. Doesn't make it facts, though. You sir are a worker. Yes, I am. Thank you. Is tagging considered active? What do you mean? Well, tagging is tagging. Tagging is not gangbanging, though. Tagging is not gangbanging because you're not actively at war with like people. Even though crews do tend to beef it, they tend to beef it more on a graffiti scale of things and not so much of a violent scale like gangs do. You get what I mean? Why tigers do and why gangs do things is two different. Tigers do it for the fame, for the art. Cholos do it for the chaos and destruction and everything else that's negative. Emily, what happens to the homies you had? Seriousness. No, they're still. One of them got killed, but a few of them are still up. They're still doing their thing. Wino passed away. But Capone, Casper, Caps, they're all still doing their thing. They comment from here to from time to time on my videos. Other cholos are junkies. Yeah, there is cholos that are junkies. Facts. This is true. That's what upstates do. Upstates tag in the he said in the fields. They tag on the fucking on strawberry bushes on cornfields. That's crazy. Actives are jokes. Yeah, that's your perspective. Obviously, you have it like for these individuals, so I can see why you would see it that way. It's a PC world, but you're a PC worker. That's fine. You know, it's never gonna get me mad, my boy. You count actives as spices too. I count everybody as active. You idiot. Why are you getting mad, my boy? Don't get mad. It's just the internet, my guy. It is not that serious. They tag the actual corn. I know it was a joke, my guy. We are just simply joking. It is not that. It's just the internet, my guy. AP isn't on a particular street. They're just anywhere. No, they have streets that they kick it on, right? But yeah, you do find them spread out though. But see, they work a little bit different. They operate a little bit different. Some of them operate like normal street individuals. Some of them operate kind of like on the low pro level because they're a lot of them are into more financial type of schemes. Is it possible for every country to merge and become one with the U.S.? Like no, or no, no, no. That would never ever happen. You want to know how we know that would never ever ever happen? Because people just can't get along when it comes to ethnicity. Everybody thinks their ethnicity is number one. Everybody thinks that they're better than the next ethnicity. Everybody swears to God like theirs is the right one. Just religion. Everybody claims that their religion is the real religion. So you know, everybody says that Mexico's the best. Being Mexican's the best. Black say that being black's the best. White say being white's the best. Nobody ever takes into consideration that maybe all our cultures are number one. Maybe all our cultures are beautiful and unique and have good things to them and also negative things to them, right? Everybody's culture is beautiful in their own way. But no, people will never see it that way. They will always swear to God like they're the real one. They're the number ones. Nobody can ever accept the fact that we're all equal because there's a lot of egos out there, bro. A lot of egotistical people. You get what I'm saying? Only if aliens invaded, I don't even think if aliens invaded, my boy. To be honest with you, I think if aliens invaded, they would try to like tell the aliens like, "Hey, no, we're cool, but see them over there? Yeah, them people right there, man. You see them right there? No, they're no good, so don't trust them." They're trying to butter up to the aliens, and plus, aliens invading for war would be a non-realistic, approach. Considering the fact that if they travel over here, then they have to be intelligent. So why would they travel over here for war or enslavement? It just wouldn't make sense. Because our astronauts are not like fucking like these militant uh dictator type individuals, right? you know Kind of takes brain cells to actually pilot ships and make trips and whatnot. All I know is no hella Sherman Waco water victory. There is some Armenians, not a lot. No, like the places where there's a lot of them is Glendale and Burbank, um, and like Sunland. You get a lot of that. Oh, and Studio City, which is close to North Hollywood, so. But they tend to be like in the more, you know, higher class, you know, when it comes to way of living. from what I remember, at least from what I was told by some of them individuals, is that they get like from their government or something like that. They get like help from their government, something like that. I don't know that was just something that they were just like fronting and saying, right? But at least that's what I was told. Kind of like gangs, huh? You have better chances of gangs putting their differences aside and coming together and for peace than you do countries. If I was to bet, which one could put their differences aside, I probably would bet on the gangs before the countries. The shadow is long. Hey, likewise, carnal. The U.S. is like the empire from Star Wars, beating other countries. Well, it wasn't always like that. It's just happening now because Trump is president, though. Get the Trump. No way in hell we're letting China. Russia's getting that shit. I mean, yeah, it's a. That's actually smart because that is the paranoia way of America thinking. Like we got to get to it first before China and Russia, get to it. That paranoia thinking. There's Armenian gangs in East Hollywood. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And here's a fun fact. Armenian Power is not the only Armenian gang. There's several other Armenian gangs. I remember there was one called Armenian Revolution something. Armenian Revolution. I forgot the whole thing, but it was Armenian Revolution something. I remember that. I remember there was an Armenian biker gang. There was another like Armenian. They claimed to be a gang, but they were more like Taggerish. Polar or some shit. I don't know. But I remember there was several though, not just one. And Armenian Power beefed it with some of them. Because I had a homie from Armenian Power. Actually, I had two. They're pretty cool. Pasadena has some Armenians. Oh, does they? Oh, I thought they all just like tend to go to kind of like every other. Kind of like you get a lot of Asians like in Long Beach, like Koreatown and shit. It's going to take 10 years or long to. Venezuela's oil. Yeah, but see, look, here's the thing about Trump. Trump is not somebody who plans out things. He's not somebody who believes in like timelines and doesn't like base his decision based off of like actual planning. He's somebody that just reacts in the moment, like on the spot, like, yes, let's do this. And he doesn't really think it through. You know what I mean? He worries about all of that shit later. Like, well, what's taking so long? Where's the oil? Like, well, it's not that simple, Mr. President. We have to, nah. I want to see the oil here by tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, the oil's still not there. What happened? Didn't I say by tomorrow? They're going to be like, well, see, that's just not how it works. I don't give a fuck, right? Let's get it done. So then they have to lie to him. Like, yeah, it's on its way. It's some, I don't know. It's like UPS. You know how they down, my boy. So, they're lagging it. Okay, but it's on its way. It's on its way, Mr. President. I assure you. Okay. And then he forgets, right? Because the next bullshit happens. He's somebody that gets fast. So another incident happens. And he completely forgets about it. That's how he works. That's how he operates. Like a child. A child that's crying for a toy, but then you're able to back them with, like a lollipop or some shit. And then they completely forget about what they're for. Yeah, kind of like that. He's like that. Not to insult him, but this is genuinely how he operates. And every other fucking like president knows this because when they sit down with him, like the African leaders did, and they were like, they nominating him for the Peace Prize award, and he was, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna do business with you guys, and I see America doing a lot of business with you guys. You kiss his ass, you tell him what he wants to hear, and he gives you what you want. That's how he operates. They know this. That's the reason why they do it. They don't really believe that he should get the Peace Prize, but they do it because they know that that's how they're able to get whatever the fuck they want out of him. Just be nice to him. Tell him what he wants to hear. What is the stream? Oh, we discussed anything in it. Not to mention that gorilla that will send drones and damage. Company. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It is not that easy. Like just because you like capture the president and you're invading, doesn't mean that you take the W. I mean, we were in Afghanistan for how long, and what happened? As soon as they left, what happened? Everything went back to how it was. So literally, we spent all that money, all that time, all that manpower, all those soldiers for absolutely no reason and nothing, bro. For nothing. Come on now. Oh, that was because of Biden. No, it was not. It was because of the right, all right? It was because of Bush. Don't give me that shit. Biden just, told him, hey, come home. But the president that ordered it was a right-wing individual, not a left-wing. Not to defend the left, because fuck them too, but I'm saying these are the facts of things. The facts of life. Can any country defeat the U.S. military? Wise, even though the U.S. has the best possibility? Yeah, if they team up. Like if you get a team up of, okay, like for example, like right now, our current situation. If we had a different president, I would say no because we have NATO. Now, people, when they think of NATO, they just think of it like NATO, like a fucking book club. NATO is the combination of like 35 different countries: Germany, France, British, like some of the, the best, top tier military global powers when it comes to NATO, right? And then you have, other smaller ones, like, fucking Poland and, Greenland and shit like that, right? But like 30 different countries united, meaning if you attack one of them, you attack all of them. So meaning when it comes to war, they're all gonna send their military to help you out, you know. So that's a lot of fucking countries. So you don't want to beef it with all of them, And on the opposite end, you do have something called BRIC, which is much like Russia, China, India, Korea and shit like that, right? They only help each other financially, not military. So it doesn't work the same as NATO. So if you do have NATO on your side, then the U.S. winning all the time, all the wars. But with this president, nobody really wants to help this president and fuck with him. If like let's say China, Russia, and North Korea decide to team up, yeah, the U.S. might take that L, bro. Might take that L. But China has a big ass military, bro. And even though North Korea's military is not that, I mean, they can't just send soldiers to help, the numbers. So, I mean, it's going to be a difficult battle to try to beat America, meaning like, invade it and conquer it. Because America has lost wars like, Vietnam. But as like, let's say you're trying to conquer America, yeah, it's going to be a very, very difficult battle for any country. It is impossible for gangs to come there when they took. Remember, actually have seen gangs put their differences aside, even though deaths have happened. You know what I mean? I actually have seen that. Some gangs actually have, put their differences aside, even though there was deaths involved. That's why I could say that, there's, a higher chance because I actually witnessed that, though. And, even my neighborhood has smashed beef with certain neighborhoods as well. So it's not impossible. What do you think of Dubs and Exposed Tube on the YouTube? Actually, I don't pay attention to it, bro. I don't really follow none of that. The only time I do get a witness of anything like that is when I scope out, like, let's say, Chemo Faces, if he's covering it, and it just happens to scope it out. But I don't really pay attention to it because, to be honest with you, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care about, Dubs and his. I don't care. I'm just being dead serious. Because I don't scope his channel out, so I could care less. Minnesota has was gonna get a bad deal from China regardless. So it's better the U.S. make its oil. That's a question. Trump would. Yeah, but um, you're when that's saying that your country is the one of peace. If your country is one that supposedly helps all these countries and frees them from these other countries that look to come and dominate and take your resources, then how do you look now being the one that's doing that but trying to push that as you're the savior and the salvation and the good guys in the battle? Then that makes you no different from because essentially it was you're gonna arrest this guy because you're looking to free the people of Venezuela, because he lost the election, yet he didn't give up power. So you're helping them now, you're freeing them because shit type of individual. Okay, but then this is now when you're supposed to give now the country to the people that actually won, that these people actually elected to win. You give now the power in the country to them, but instead you're gonna say, nah, we're gonna run. What? I thought you guys were supposed to be saviors and all this and that. It's like it's what they're pitching and what they're doing is like stop being hypocrites. Like if this is why you're really doing it and this is all you care about, then just say that, bro. Don't come with the bullshit. I fucking hate the lies. Had another field attempt on the same day. I don't know why these clowns get mad at immigrants and yet they keep trying to. It's because they don't make any sense, bro. It doesn't make any sense. One of the MAGA. See, here's one of the main MAGA arguments when it comes to immigration that I see is that the reason why they're mad at these immigrants and stuff like that is that these immigrants come here and that they take their jobs because they're willing to work for less money. So these companies hire these individuals instead because they can pay them less for the same work. So that's why they're angry at the immigrants. And it's like, okay, but how is that their fault? Shouldn't you be mad at these corporations and these companies for looking to instead hire these individuals to pay them less? So shouldn't your anger be towards these fucking rich individuals that are fucking greedy? Shouldn't that be who you should be targeting and homing in instead of these individuals? Like, what? How is it that their fault? You get what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, bro, people rather blame that they get distracted with the fucking ethnicity. Like, that's always a distraction, bro, because nobody ever wants to blame money because everybody wants money, and the source of the problem can't be the thing you want, so therefore you're looking to blame something else that can't relate to you, which would be ethnicity. That's why it's always the easiest fucking, distraction and scapegoat when it comes to this kind of shit. When it comes to the game has always been the rich against the poor, period. But everybody always gets lost in the ethnicities, bro. Because of course money cannot be the issue here, because that is what you want. Funny. In Iraq, it was the weapons deals for the rich ones. Yeah, like Nancy Pelosi. And a whole lot of other Democrats. A whole lot of other Democrats were actually a lot of money off of that war. As a matter of fact, when it comes to that war, more Democrats were earning money than Republicans. That's a fun fact that they will never ever talk about. There's a reason why I hate them. They're just as fucking dirty as the right, my boy. At least the right are upfront about it. See, the right are the type to spit on your food and hand it to you, and the Democrats are the behind the curtain, spit on the food, and then come out and hand it to you. But essentially, you're getting, food that's been spit on. Even a protest society, they do this the parent analogy to this. Like the Republicans are the step parent who just doesn't like the child and doesn't give a fuck about the child, and it's just like, get him, let him do this shit on his own, fuck him. And then the Democrats are like the naive mom that her kid can't do nothing bad, even though he's a drug dealer, he's a serial killer. Like, no, he's never been a criminal, he doesn't know, he has never broken the law, just in denial. Yeah, that's the Democrats. Both parenting is horrible parenting. But yet both are saying that they're the good parent, that they know what's right for the child. But both of them are bringing harm to the kid. Yet no parent is willing to admit they're the problem. What do you think about the Mexican dictators? They're all the same, bro. All these dictators are the same. They just care about power and they don't care about their people or their country. The U.S. see peace and justice, but nah, not like that. Exactly. They're shit. Immigrant women taking homies' job. What the fuck? Feminine movement wanting to be getting like old times. Nah, I think that there's something wrong right as well. Like this whole what people believe a man should behave or a female should behave is just ridiculous in itself too. You know what I mean? Like women can do work as well as the men can. Not to say that they're equal when it comes to, like, let's say equality in everything. Like male will ever be better than a female, obviously because it's genetics. But to say like work related wise, like saying you know, a woman can't achieve greatness in the company like a man can is just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But people always play it as in, oh, that no, you're just saying that because you're this or you hating on the masculine thing, and it's like, who's talking about actually physical activities and actually like physically stuff? Like that's not what people think. They always spin this web and turn it into something that is not, though, because obviously they lose the argument, so they distract people with these kind of rhetorics that actually make no sense. I once met a guy who was in his 20s when he told me that the first everyone was running for Castro, but then he started. Kind of reminds you of Trump, huh? That kind of was like what happened with Trump. The women still get paid under the men to this economy. In some fields, yes. Not to say that in all fields, right? Like sexism still exists. Like there's people that just you're like, oh, because she's a woman, she's gonna get paid less, right? But not to say that that's everywhere is like that. You know what I mean? All right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over. We got to get back to it. It was good chopping it up with you guys, and we out.